这样是不是 ？Is there anyone try to test the video? Dr. Yang? Dear participants, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thanks for joining our incubator theme the tide of plastic and microplastic transport from rivers to the ocean today. I'm Dr. Li from East China Normal University. That is a great honor to convene this incubator. As we all know, marine plastic and microplastic pollution has become one of major environmental issues that needs to be addressed urgently. The WESTPAC has been recognized as a hotspot area for riverine plastic waste. This incubator is intended to discuss the current limitations in the monitoring of riverine plastic waste and promote collaborative, co-designed, science-based, solution-oriented research and action in the region based on harmonized methodologies on the framework of. Besides this, the latest policy and technology development will be shared and discussed. The incubator welcomes the participation of ocean stakeholders and cordial interested in and committed to the combating plastic pollution. Okay, before we start our incubator, please allow me to introduce housekeeper role of incubator first. Please make sure your display name is corrected following the example. Second, please remain muted unless you need to speak. One thing to note is that we will have questions in the discussion part after all talks are finished. But you can type your questions in the chat box through our session with noting the name of speaker you want to ask. Or you can raise the virtual hand in the room to request the floor. Turn on your camera and mute yourself and ask directly. One more thing, group photos. Please now open your camera for a minute and let's take a group photo. Okay. Let me see.
Okay.
Yeah, almost everyone here.
Let's take a group photo together.
Yes. Okay, I think it's good. Is everything on the screen?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Look at the screen and smile. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Another one, please. 1, 2, 3. All right. Thank you so much. Now back. Thanks. Let's go to the, I'll share the screen now. This is today's agenda of our incubator. We will have 7 invited speakers to give mini talks regarding to riverine plastic issues. Now I would like to invite our speakers to give a brief self-introduction. So let's do this following the presentation sequence. First, it's myself. Right? I'm George Li, a professor and director from East China Normal University. I'm also a director of UNESCO IAC's Regional Training and Research Center on plastic marine debris and microplastic. And I also a member of the WD-40 working group. So that's all. And next, Dr. Wiggin, Dr. Patrick Yang.
Hello everyone, this is Patrick from WESTPAC China, and it's my honor to be invited to speak at this incubator section. And then I'm leading the WESTPAC China's ocean conservation program, and on the ocean plastic issue, I am taking lead on the international collaboration part. Yeah, so nice to meet you guys.
Thanks. And next, Dr. Wiggin.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. My name is Vijan Sumachaya. I'm president of Thailand Environment Institute. I also a chairman of public-private partnership on plastic waste management in Thailand. Nice to meet you all. Thank you.
Thanks. Then Dr. Li Xinzhu.
Hello, everyone. So I'm Li Xinzhu, also from East China Normal University. So I'm now currently working with Professor Dao Li on marine plastic and microplastic pollution. And it's a great honor to be here. So today I will share some experience about the riverine plastic and microplastic monitoring. Thank you.
Thanks. And then Dr. Lynn Hollyhoe.
Yes, hello everybody. My name is Lonneke Holierhoek, and I'm with the Ocean Cleanup in the Netherlands, an organization that, a non-profit organization that is cleaning the ocean by both cleaning oceans and cleaning rivers. I'm excited to be here today.
Thank you very much. Then Ivan Neil Christine Ridwan.
Thank you for Professor Dao Li. Hello everybody. My name is Yvonne. I come from Bandung Institute of Technology, one university in Indonesia. Now my research is related with marine debris and the transport and etc. And I'm happy to be a part of this research presentation. Thank you.
Thanks. Then I is Dr. Ocean 20.
Hello, everyone. My name is Lin from Vietnam. I work at the Institute of Oceanography and also in the professional group in microplastics research. Today, I will share about the progresses of the plastic and microplastics research in Vietnam and hope to share and learn something about all of you. Thank you.
Thanks, Lin. Okay, now let's start our mini talk. Firstly, please allow me to give a very broad and general review about river and plastic pollution. So first, so our daily life has benefited from plastic products for a decade due to their advanced properties. World plastic production has increased exponentially since 1950, and it's predicted to extend 1,000 million tons, 1,000 million by 2050. This makes our world as a plastic world. We can see plastic everywhere. However, more than half of plastic products ever made were discarded. Half of this, those discarded plastic waste will end in our environment and ocean. Plastic and microplastic have been recovered various environment compartments of our ocean, affecting even the most printing areas, forcing threats to marine ecosystems and even healthy of our human beings. Due to the huge density of population, relative per capacity to deal plastic waste, WESTPAC regions has been recognized as hotspots for marine plastic pollution, which need to put extra efforts in order to combat the urgent environment issue. With our knowledge increasing, rivers are recognized as major pathways transporting land-based plastic to the ocean. River-dominated coasts comprise only 0.87% of the global cost, and yet they receive 52% of plastic pollution delivered by river systems. Major sources of plastic in rivers are from land-based activities, such as wastewater, direct litter, or other plastic waste which close to the river banks were transported to the river by physical processes, such as runoff, wind. Besides that, activities in rivers such as fishing, agriculture, shipping also contribute parts of plastic and microplastics in the river. Lastly, atmosphere deposition could also be a potential source. We should also be aware that not all the plastic in the rivers will end up in the ocean. When they are way to the ocean, parts of this plastic and microplastic will stick to the river sediment, river bank, and keep
by the leaks and riverbank. Figuring out the flux of plastic exported by river is essential to evaluate the impact of plastic on marine ecosystems. Due to the lack of in situ monitoring data, previous efforts tried to estimate the riverine plastic flux from modeling approaches. For example, Lipton et al. Estimated that 1.50 to 2.41 million tons of plastic were exported by global rivers annually. And Smith et al. Gathered a similar range by different model approach. However, comparing to the current stock of plastic in the surface ocean, those estimated riverine plastic exports were very large. These arrows are paradox that 99% ocean plastic has gone missing. This has become an essential knowledge gap on the state of the marine plastic. While many theories have been proposed trying to fill this gap, one of the potential answers is that previous global riverine plastic transport flux was highly overestimated. With knowledge increasing and more efforts have been done to improve the accuracy of estimation, media recognized that these studies did not account for partial distribution of plastic waste generation or climatological and geographical differences with the river basin. To improve this, they deployed a new model including geographically distributed data on plastic waste, land use, wind, precipitation, and a river, and calculated the probability for plastic waste to reach a river and subsequently the ocean. They finally estimate that 0.8 to 2.7 million tons of plastic waste ending up in the ocean. Further, May proposed a new indicator for the model, and based on the calibration with the field data, their estimated riverine plastic flux is 57 to 155,000 tons. This estimation is much lower than the previous estimations. More recently, we did a in-depth statistically reanalysis of updated data on microplastics. They estimated the global microplastic flux from river 6.6 kilotons per year. This is 2 or 3 orders of magnitude lower than the previous estimation. We proposed 3 major knowledge gaps in previous studies. One is average mass of plastic overestimated. The second is non-harmonized monitoring strategy. 3 is NPW not suitable, varies a lot even at a local scale. So the author called for the collaborative efforts to develop standard sampling technologies and reliable extrapolation methods so as to avoid major errors in a budget calculation. Based on above information, here we summarize the 5 key science-based solution-oriented actions we could do to combat riverine plastic pollution. Our invited speakers will introduce the work from those 5 perspectives in detail in the following time. Okay. Thanks for your attention. I will stop here and give the floor to our second speaker, Dr. Patrick Yang, please. Right. Please share the screen. Dr. Yang.
Yes, just a moment. I am doing it. Yeah, can you see my screen now?
Yes, it's good.
Yeah, thank you everyone. This is Patrick from WESTPAC China, and I have introduced myself. So actually for WESTPAC, because we are a NGO and that we are also leading a lot of programs globally on like bringing the communities together to help solve the different environmental problems. So we are honored to be invited to share in this incubator program on the role of citizen science in preventing land-based plastic waste ending up in the ocean from rivers. And then just a very quick introduction about WESTPAC. I believe a lot of the audience here would know WESTPAC. And we also have a lot of offices in the East Asian region. So we have over 100 offices globally, and then work on a lot of different topics, especially including ocean conservation program. And also we also connect with the other types of sources of pollution from, for example, from the communities, from the industries, etc. Yeah, so we are at a very good position to bridge for the true solutions to help solve the problem. And then, so actually, Dr. Lee has already introduced about the problem of marine plastic, so I'm not going into very detail, but just as a brief introduction, we realize that there are a lot of challenges from marine plastic pollution to the ocean by having millions of tons of plastic entering the ocean every year, and then it is causing a lot of harm to the various marine species. And this is also causing harm to the public health and livelihood of the local communities. So it is a heavy world economy burden. So that's why we have to solve this problem with the help of the different governments, the different corporates, etc. And then marine plastic actually comes from a lot of land-based activities. So the river is actually connecting the ocean from terrestrial areas in the different cities, etc. So we have to be very cautious about the problem of ocean plastic, although it's happening in the ocean, but it's about the everyday life of the different citizens, and also about the waste management performance of the different governments. And microplastic is also a largely hidden problem in the past, and now we know more about this, and then we also have to tackle this in the future. And the problem of ocean plastic is not only about those on the beaches that we can see, but it's also laying on the ocean floor and also floating on the ocean surface, and then affecting the whole water columns of the oceans.
So diving into my main topic about citizen science, actually, we of course realize that we have the different government representatives here and also many leading scientists in the field of marine plastic or riverine plastic monitoring. But actually, citizen science is a very good tool for us to help like supplement the disadvantages or the limitation of the scientific researchers, because by having the citizen science, we can empower them to help collect data and explore more of the areas which are not easily visited by the scientists, and we can combine our resources and expertise to raise awareness, build capacity, etc., to solve the problem. And then it's also widely recognized by the different international organizations that we can connect the interested parties and enable more widely conducted data collection on the beach litter, on the entanglement, and many others. And also, there are specific roles of citizen science which can help address the plastic pollution problems. For example, the citizen scientists, they can help collect data on the abundance, distribution, composition of the plastic pollution from land, from the river, and also in the ocean. And then also, because the citizen science is leveraging the power of NGOs and also the different communities, we can help use this approach to change the public motivation and awareness, because they are actually those who may be polluting the environments, but by joining the citizen science projects, they can this can also help raise the awareness of those people and also the different corporates. And also, actually, a lot of the citizen science programs, they also focus on asking the volunteers to also remove the plastic waste or the other types of waste from the local areas as well, besides doing data collection. So this is also serving the other purpose of reducing the burden of the government in doing cleanups. So in the preparation of this sharing, actually, we try to review the different citizen science initiative happening globally, and here I just list out 4 of them, including RIMEL app, International Coastal Cleanup, Marine Litter Watch, and also NOAA Marine Debris Tracker. So they actually happen in many different countries or in different regions, but we can see that we can see some common points between these different citizen science program. Many of them actually use mobile phone applications to help gather and store and also share data, because in this high-tech era, actually, it is much easier for us to use this a mobile phone app to collect data instead of just using the traditional paper-based data collection. And then besides, actually, a lot of these programs, they focus mainly on marine plastic, although some also have some parts about rivers, but majority of them are about the ocean. So this is a largely missing part in the global citizen science program on plastic issue. And then the scope is also heavily focused on microplastic because there would be some limitation on monitoring microplastic as well. So I will dive into 2 cases which can demonstrate how the citizen science projects are performed. Of course, I have to state that all the different citizen science projects on litter monitoring, they can happen in many different methodologies. So these are just some simple demonstration. Like, for example, the RIMEL project, actually, they asked the participants to go to some elevated positions, like in this photo. Yeah, so there could be volunteers standing by the bridge, and then so they can monitor the plastic or the different types of litter going downstream along the river. And so they can do some visual observations and do some record of what they see, and then like use the mobile app to report on the data. And then yeah, and then so they also, of course, they don't just do it in one site, so just do it for 1 minute, but they do some short surveys for minimum half an hour, so that they can help to monitor the different situations in different rivers. And the other one is the Mississippi River Plastic Pollution Initiative. So this one is a little bit different, that the volunteers, they would go to the places near the rivers, and then but they will pick up the different pieces of litter and do some record on what they have found. And then so just have a higher resolution of the exact types of plastic and the quantities that they collect. And then these plastic, because they are near the river, so if rain falls or if they are not well managed, they may fall into rivers and go along the river and go into the ocean. So this is another approach that has been happening in 3 cities in the USA. So as a summary of what I have shared, actually, we can see that for the citizen science on plastic pollution, actually, it mainly focuses on marine ecosystems, but less on the freshwater systems. And then there is no standardized, robust methodologies that are like all recognized by the scientists or collaborated with the scientists. And then we also see that there needs greater recognition of citizen science, because we see the advantages of having citizen science and how we can leverage this power to address the problems, and also raise awareness of the communities to find out the root causes of the problems is an important task in the future. And also we identified that in the past, more of these citizen science projects are focusing on microplastic, but less on microplastic because of the higher requirements on the equipment or technologies, etc. But these pave ways for the future designs of the citizen science programs. We face different challenges, and we also identify different opportunities. For example, we know that there are barriers of collecting scientifically meaningful data. So actually, there is a need for the scientists to recognize this and then collaborate with the NGOs, with the public, or with the different corporates to collect data, so that we can make this all useful. And can help advise the government and the corporates to make changes. And then there is also a challenge of citizen engagement, because we need to make it fun, interesting project, but also scientific, so that there needs more communications and identification of the right groups to be engaged in the future. And then we also identify the opportunities of engagement with the different sectors on commercial, on policies, or the waste management, education sectors, etc., so that we can increase the scale of this impact. And also, of course, very importantly, if we want to make this scientifically sound, we need a lot of capacity building for the different participants. And last but not least, actually, we also realized that globally there is a call for new global agreements to tackle plastic pollution on both land-based and sea-based sources. And then in this potential new internationally agreement, there is also an important role of establishing an intergovernmental panel of experts, and also harmonized measurements and monitoring. So I think citizen science should be also recognized if there will be such a scientific panel, and if we have such an agreement, we have to do more on like designing good citizen science projects so that we can help the different governments globally to harmonize the measurements and monitoring. So I will end here and thank you for listening, and I'm happy to answer any question in the upcoming section. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Yang, for your excellent presentation. So again, I want to remind okay. Again, I want to remind that we will have a question regarding to the talk in our presentation after oral talk. But you can also type your questions in the chat box along the talk. Thanks. Okay, let's invite our next speaker, Dr. Simachaya. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. It's my pleasure to be here to join our practice and policy measure and action to mitigate land-based plastic pollution in Thailand. Let me share my slide presentation. Can you see my slide?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. We already know marine plastic is a global, regional, and national issue. Some type of plastic stay the environment and the ocean quite long time, sometimes more than 450 years. Nearly 700 animal species are already affected by plastic pollution and accumulated in ocean. The Department of Marine and Coastal Resources under Ministry of National Resources and Environment of Thailand report the effect of marine debris to the Thailand marine environment, including marine mammal, turtle, coral reef, and other species of marine animal. Plastic waste is a common problem in ASEAN and Asia Pacific region. The leak of plastic waste at the ocean. Let me move to the issue of the policy landscape for plastic management in Thailand. The roadmap on plastic waste management and its associated action plan aim to reduce plastic marine debris and serve as a framework and direction for preventing and managing waste in the country. You can see here there are two targets under the roadmap. The target one is reduce and replace some single-use plastic by using environmental friendly products. The target of single-use plastic are already banned in 2019, including oxo-degradable plastic, capsule for bottom drinking water, and microbeads. The single-use plastic will be banned in the year 2022, including styrofoam food container, plastic straw, single-use plastic bag, which thicker less than 36 micron, and single-use plastic cup less than 100 micron. Target 2 is the recycle target plastic waste by applying circular economy principle at 100% by 2027. Under the action plan, the principle of the framework and action plan, including life cycle assessment approach, 3R principle: reduce, reuse, recycle, public-private partnership, concept of circular economy, and also responsible consumption and production. The mitigation measure including the first one is the reduction of plastic at source, such as eco-design, design for recycle, for example, ban and reduce single-use plastic. And last but not least is the post-consumption plastic waste management. The government also strongly promote a new economic model known as BCG model. B stand for bioeconomy, C stand for circular economy, and D stand for green economy. BCG is a new national agenda that already approved by the cabinet. BCG economic model is implementing as a post-COVID-19 based on principle of sufficient economy philosophy of the late King Ramanai and support sustainable development goal. The major area cover food security, health security, energy security, employment security, and important thing is sustainable natural resources and environment. The country will move from unstable linear economy to more sustainable circular economy, which transfer from make dispose of linear economy to make you return of circular economy model. The energy sources will also move from fossil-based to renewable sources. Why we need circular economy? The facing the resource scarcity with the overconsumption, security of the pollution and emission of greenhouse gases. A circular economy will benefit and support development goal, maximizing resource efficiency and reduce pollution at the same time, as well as minimizing global climate change impact. This will create new economic opportunity in line with national policy. The driving mechanism of circular economy in BCG model, we call 3 C's approach, including C1 is closing the loop, which the goal at reduction 1/4 amount of current natural resources consumption. C2 is creating new economic growth of about 1% GDP increasing within 10 years. And C3 is combating climate change and pollution target sector that we are selected in implementing circular economy in Thailand are plastic waste, food waste and food loss for agriculture and food industry, and construction sector that consume a lot of natural resources. For plastic waste, we are implementing a closed loop system that support national roadmap on plastic waste management. This implement closely with our stakeholders. We set milestone to recycle target plastic such as PET, PE, PP plastic at 100% by 2030. This will impact the reduction of energy consumption, resource consumption, and pollution problem and income generation at the same time. PPP plastic stands for Public-Private Partnership for Sustainable Plastic and Waste Management in the country that initiated by the Federation of Thai Industry and Thailand Business Council for Sustainable Development. The forum have been started at the World Environmental Day in June the 5th, 2018. PPP plastic help to support national target and regional and global commitment, including national roadmap action plan on plastic management, ASEAN Roadmap and Action Plan and BCG, especially circular economy that I mentioned earlier. The member of PP Plastic, including more than 40 organizations from associate organization, government sector, private sector, and international organization, educational institute. There are a number of circular economy model implementing by PP Plastic and partner, including Kongtoi model, that business model for plastic waste management, Rayong model, that community and provision-based model, and the project that collect the plastic waste. Here, just an example of the Kongtoi model is a city and business model for waste management, especially for the plastic, using a circular economy approach. That we work closely with the private sector. The outcome of the project of the 7 participating building can decrease around 21%, and we can recycle rate is also increasing at the same time. Rayong model is the model for the whole problem. It is a pilot that we wish to work with the government agency and local authority to transfer other province community in the country. If you are interested in the model, how we can set up the model, you can visit our website later on. Here just the example of the project that we collect plastic, we call magic handbone, that collect 12 film and packaging plastic. Currently, we can collect plastic about 20,000 kilograms. That the value of plastic is 5 baht per kilogram that go to the marine life conservation program. For a recycled plastic, road project is also developed, and right now in the process of implementing the testing the environmental impact of the road construction, and also in the process of certification of prevent government agency. The driver mechanism of BCG circular economy that I mentioned earlier is the co-benefit. Plastic waste is the important issue. Develop the circular economy platform, public-private partnership, also very important, and circular economy society and the market. Here just example that what the policy implement in the country. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I think the time a little bit. So I think next we invited Dr. Li Xin to give a talk. Thanks.
Hello, could you hear me? Could you see the slides?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Thanks, Professor Lee. Good morning again, everyone. Today, I would like just want to thank Professor Lee to invite me to give this talk, and also great honor to attend this kickoff conference. So for today, I would just want to give a very general review about those, regarding to the monitoring strategy of those plastic and microplastic in the rivers. So I just from the very I want to following the study that Professor Lee's talk had mentioned, that which identified those 3 major methodological biases in previous studies regarding to the riverine microplastics estimation. So actually, so we can say two of them is closely relating to the monitoring strategies. So one is the average mass that currently we think is overestimated. For example, the authors claimed estimate that the average mass for microplastic particle would be around like 0.2 milligrams, but for fibers is only 0.75 micrograms. So those numbers are, those mass are far lower than those used in previous studies, which was 0.1 to 3 milligrams. And secondly is the authors also stress the concentration difference that result from the various sampling strategy. So okay, for this talk, I might just focus on this two parts. So we can see so here's the summary that for the sampling strategies for plastic and microplastics sampling in aquatic systems. So those pictures are actually in the ocean, but it would be to the work similar in the rivers. So we can separate them from depending on choose the strategy depending on the one is the size of the plastics you want to sampling, or the location, or actually either the surface water or the deep water you want to do. So there's general methods, including the pump sampling that which normally using the surface water or not surface. I'm sorry, it's the water column. But also there's a net sampling method that could be used in the surface water using normal nets would be the meta nets and the Newton nets. Also for large plastics, we can using the real observation like the WWF has done, and also the photographic service or even satellite imaging. So there's a more new technology trying to overcome those barriers. And for the for the locations that to choose to sampling in the rivers, we can do either on board, just in the rivers, right, and also on bridge or on the river banks. So here's the summary of those sampling activities that we reviewed in the literature. So we can see from the results, the summary results on the left figure is that so currently more than around like 70% of the study sampling is using the net for microplastics. But at the same time, we should also notice even the all using net sampling, but the size, the pore size actually of the nets are varied a lot. You can see varied from 5 microns all the way up to 1,000 microns. So all these difference would result in the final microplastic concentration difference. So further step is about also the sampling volume also matters. One study also we can see from this attempt also in the Eastern Sea, coastal Eastern Sea, we can see the volume of when the volume of the sampling for the water increased, the microplastics abundance would decrease at the very beginning when the volume is very small, and then keep relative consistent if the volume large enough, so get a reliable so as to get a reliable data. And then for microplastics, when you got collect from the rivers, you might need some actual processes to process those samples. Those processes including the digestion or density separation and identification by microscope and spectroscopy technology such as FTIR and Raman. Yeah, of course, those some studies didn't really separate them samples suitably, would include their errors, and also if the particles not all identified or by spectroscopy, they would be also increase the errors as well. Okay, so once we got those monitoring data, so then there will be the next part is how could we use this monitoring data to better estimate those river plastic and microplastic fluxes. So for this part, I won't put many stress on those modeling approaches, but only like focusing on the in situ data. So once you got data, this is just the general idea that to calculate the export fluxes of plastic and microplastics. So basically, this is the summary of the net river discharge multiply the plastic mass concentration. So any parameters that are affecting these two parameters would affect the final export flux. So this is the summary. The sum is the sampling frequency. This could be seasonal or even monthly sampling, and also apparently this indicated the temporary scale, and also for the net river discharge, the tidal effects should be considered. For the plastic mass concentration, I will be there's something like we need to stress on. I will just introduce in the following. So one is to notice is the spatial temporal variation of those microplastics in rivers. So just taking a study in Yangtze River estuary as an example, so we can clearly see the spatial variations, either in a season in Yangtze estuary and also across different seasons. And then on the right figure, you can see this indicated the vertical distribution of microplastic abundance that was affected by the tides. Actually, I mean the water density is indicated the tidal effects on the microplastic abundance. And then the second one is from the member to mass is about the mass actually is the mass problem of those microplastics in rivers. I just remind you at the very beginning of the slide. So we can see here's like two studies. One is the summary of the microplastic composition. Actually, is the chemical composition from the either chemical composition and also shape composition. So this is, we can see that in most studies that the fibers is the dominant type of microplastics in those river samples. And also like similar condition would be on the right is just from the Yangtze River estuary. So we can clearly see there's a the fibers is dominant type, but the problem is if we the average mass of those fibers is very small, is very compared to the fragments. So if we just simply transfer those microplastic mass based on their numbers, using a single or simple transfer factor, that would be the problem. And the second thing is the micro to macro plastics in the rivers, their ratio. So this ratio is currently, we all know that this is varied a lot across regions. But now we don't have enough data to support further calculations to consider this region difference. And yeah, this is just give you common sense about the result, the mass difference in Yangtze River estuary that we done in here in Yangtze estuary. So in Yangtze River estuary, so the average mass of those microplastics is only 33 micrograms. However, it's the models used mass previous mass is 2 orders higher than this value. So this is the one reason that caused the problem. Then for the tide effects here, just introduce a just show the the effects of tides on the microplastic abundance, but we also trying to use model approaches to eliminate the effects of the tides. So here's also another example still in Yangtze estuary that's done by our colleagues. So the model was valid using the salinity and temperature to see the tidal signals, and then based on these equations, modeling equations that to eliminate the effects of the tides. So this is the results. We can see the change of the microplastic abundance along with the tides in different seasons, and also along the water columns. But once you deploy the model, we can see about 40 to 60 variations, all underestimated or overall underestimated by the tidal effects in the similar estuaries. So okay, sorry running out of time, but I have the last slide for the perspectives. I mean, things we can do that moving forward. So one is apparently endorse the appealing that we need to establish a harmonized monitoring methodologies. Currently we have those methodologies from different groups, but the crucial thing is how could we use this, right? One is to do capacity building, in this region, like during the next during the Oceanographic year, and improve the research capacity using this methodology. And then based on this, we can do further collaborative work in this region to improve our understanding of the real export of our plastic and microplastics. Okay, I will stop here. Thanks for your attention. I will also welcome questions in the section part. Thank you.
Thanks, for your presentation. Next is Dr. Longman. Please have your floor.
Yes, sorry. I'm not entirely sure if you can see the right screen.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah? Okay.
That's good.
So thank you for giving me the opportunity to introduce our work. The Ocean Cleanup is a non-profit organization that is really aiming to clean up the plastic pollution in our marine environment, so in the oceans, as well as in rivers. I do get the feeling that I've got the wrong mode. Hang on. Anyway, sorry. We research the problem to really understand it before we can solve it. So our organization is also really focused on scientific research, and I was really happy to see some of the previous speakers referring to some of our scientific work. We do a lot of research, and we publish peer-reviewed research scientific papers. It's all open source. It's available for all the entire scientific community, including on our website. And the aim is really to support the understanding on how we can best solve the plastic pollution. So in general, the research does show that by prevention only, the plastic pollution that's already out there won't go away. So we need a combination of both preventive actions as well as cleanup actions to really get rid of the plastic pollution. So we aim to clean the plastic already accumulating in our open oceans. So that's part of the strategy that we're working on. And recently, we have been able to launch successful technology in the Great Pacific Garbage Patch to actually clean the accumulating plastic that's already out there. So we're starting to have some real successes here. Besides that, we do, as we mentioned earlier, we do a research towards what are the sources of the pollution in the oceans. And we have developed a global model predicting river emissions, plastic river emissions This model helps in understanding the hotspots, the main contributors, and helps focus the cleanup and prevention activities that we need to do. Our research shows that in approximately the 1,000 most polluting rivers, you can account for about 80% of the emissions that are flowing into the seas and oceans from rivers. Apart from doing research to sources and the pollution itself, we also collaborated with Deloitte to actually research the cost of plastic pollution annually in the world. And we took a couple of economic factors that we could identify, and we calculated what the cost of the plastic pollution is. And for that, we sort of concluded that the cost of doing nothing is way too high. So we developed technologies to intercept debris, trash, before it enters the oceans. The flagship of our technology development is the Interceptor. You see that here. That's quite a powerful piece of technology that you can place in a quite wide variety of types of rivers. It's sustainable. Yeah, it's driven by green energy, and it's quite powerful and effective. Besides this flagship, we are also, which is still confidential in a way, we're developing new interception technologies and trialing it, and collaborating with other parties to trial this, because not all the circumstances in the rivers are the same. So we want to have a variety of different technologies that we can apply. To be effective for the long term, you need strong collaborative approach with a lot of different local stakeholders. And therefore, we are really happy to collaborate on cleaning projects with governments, regional and national, the private sector, global corporations or other regional companies, as well as NGOs and other non-profit initiatives. Being a non-profit, of course, we are very grateful for the support, for our sponsors, for the donations that we receive, and also for our great team that consists of engineers and scientists, and a lot of other professionals to contribute to our mission. And like the other speakers, I'm happy to take questions and answer them in the panel afterwards. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Dr. Leonard, for giving us the excellent talk at such early morning in our country now. Thank you very much. Okay, so we go to the next speaker, Dr. Evan, please. Evan, okay. Dr. Evan. Dr. Evan, can you hear me? It's your time now.
Yes, I'm okay. Sorry.
Okay.
Yes, I will show you. Okay. Sit clear. Okay. Thank you, Professor Daujali. It's very nice and a very honor for me to be part of this Incubator 11. You indicate and In this time, I will talk about the progress of referent plastic research and intervention in Indonesia. Actually, Indonesia is a very good country. We have more than 70,000 islands, and that's a big problem for us to solve up the problem for the marine debris and referent plastic. And I'm working in Oceanographic department from Bandung Institute of Technology, and also I'm working with the Marine Technology Cooperation Research Center with Korea in Indonesia. So this is information from summarized from the coordinating Ministry of Marine Affairs and Infestation that in Indonesia, we have a leakage of plastic from land to ocean is about, if the population is about 150 million people, and then we have problem with the leakage, as you see here from the land, and also from the waste plastic, and also leakage from the ocean and drain, park, and burn. And the total weight of marine debris estimation in 2017 about 1.2 million ton from the KLHK 2017. And based on the result from the latest report from the national report from the plastic discharge from river and coastline in Indonesia for the World Bank in 2020, we have three main problems in Indonesia related with plastic waste. The first one, that most of Indonesian land-based marine plastic is transported to the marine environmental rivers. We have more than 4,000 rivers in Indonesia. And the first global study undertaken by Libreton 2017 ranked 4 Indonesian river is the most polluted top 20. And it's a very big problem for us. And the other things, the second thing is that the amount of mismanaged plastic waste discharged into the ocean increasing significantly during the rainy season. And this is the role of the monsoon system in our country. And based on the data and also the result, the research, we can find that there is sometimes 3 times higher between the rainy season compared with the dry season. And we have also rural areas bear the greatest burden of mismanaged plastic waste due to the extremely limited waste collection service, and also the problem of the end waste collection service. So this is, I will show you the top 10 top Indonesian rivers in terms of yearly amount of plastic discharged into the marine, and also for the base, but this is based only on the solid waste management. So this is from some rivers, a big river from in Indonesia, and mostly it is located in the two island, the Java and also the Sumatra island. And you can see here the mostly, especially in the Java Island, because we have very high dense population in Java Island. And this is the result from the fate of mismanaged plastic waste that in rivers for the different regions across the Indonesia. This one you can see here. The Sumatra is this one, and this is the Java. Java is very big, and Bali is around this area, and we have the Kalimantan, the Borneo, and Sulawesi, and we have also the Maluku and the Papua, the last one. But based on the result, we can see that maybe if we count the Bali, from Bali to Papua, the number of MPP transported is still low compared with what is in Sumatra and Java Island. And if you can see here, the fate of MPP face off directly or indirectly into the marine environment in the main island in Indonesia. We can see also that's the Sumatra and Java have a very big number, and also some is in Sulawesi and in Maluku. And if the estimation range of we have 346.5 kiloton per year of plastic discharge into the marine environmental, and 2 of third part from Java and Sumatra Island. And this is one the comparison between result, because from we have the highest estimation from Jambek in 2015 that put Indonesia in the second list of the rank of the plastic pollution. But we have also the other one from Brereton, and we have the Broadbank in 2018, but the new one, the 2021 result, we have a more slightly lower compared with the other result, because we have the method and also the approach is more realistic. And this is a very good information from Friend et al. He collect all the data and also the research that have used the related with the plastic problem from the terrestrial, riverine, marine, atmosphere, and also you can see here. And but we can see the number we have compared with our country, big countries, only 83 publication, but maybe some of them is not published in international publication. That's why we have only in Bahasa publication, or some is not just collect, just they put in the report or something like that. And for the microplastic, we have about 40 as well as the microplastic. But for the macro and microplastic together is very limited, and some of them is in marine, but in river we have very limited information about that one. And if we focus on the plastic study by the region, you can see here that we have a marine focus, river focus with marine is we can find anywhere a lot of in the area, but in the river we have only maybe in Java Island, and land focus is also in Java Island. And we need a very big effort to do to get information and monitoring the data about the river in Indonesia. And this is one of the cases that have been conducted regarding the microplastic by using the Raman. And you can see if we compare with the location, concentration, and in 2017 and 2018, and the number of particles is, I think, yeah, it's smaller compared with the Hudson River, but compared with the river, with the Shanghai River and also in China, maybe it is more smaller. And this is the location of the river. And the sampling method was conducted in October, November 2017. And this is by Alam et al. Chemistry 2000, our colleague also in ITB. And they have collected data from several locations, divided by the segment, industrial, upstream, because this area is a very, this is an industrial area from the, and we have also the domestic, and you can see that in industrial area, they have a very more higher result compared with the domestic area. And if the result from the river is 90% fiber and fragment is 35%, and sediment is 95% and only 9% in fragment. And this is also the same location, but we use the water quality data to see the healthy of the data of this river. And this was conducted in June and July 2015. And you can see this is discharge rainfall. And this is the location that has been done in Majalaya in that river. You can see that the green one is a slightly polluted, but the red one, the location near the industrial, we have the heavily polluted and also the dirty one. But this one is was collected in 2015 and 16. And this is another case of our result. We use the observation, also the simulation that inputting the data of tidal, the monsoon wind, because you can see that this is an important one, and also the river stream. This is the Bali Island, is very, very famous one, and we have we have 8 river around this area. We put the model to see how the trajectory and how from the river go to the sea, Bali Sea, and you can see here from the day 10 and the day 30. And the other one is the role of monsoon. You can see here. This one we have very different situation. The west monsoon and the east monsoon. The first figure you can see here, the one is the same location was taken from the Pedonganan Beach in Bali Island. And during the west monsoon that happened in December, we have a lot of marine debris, and also we can see here. But during the June and the east monsoon, the dry monsoon in Indonesia, so we can see this is clean location, clean area, more clean compared with the west monsoon. And there's a good collaboration for the local government and local community participatory, because every day they collect the debris, and because the tourism is very important in this area. And for the governmental commitment and also strategy, president have been have a commitment on the leaders retreat in 2017 to reduce the waste by 3R, reduce, reuse, and recycle until 30% in 2025, and we have a very 70% in 2050, yeah, 25. And this is we have a very 5 commitment: behavior change, by education, reduce land-based leakage, reduce sea-based leakage, and also enhance law enforcement and financial, and also research and development. And this is including 6 ministries and also institutions. And this is one of the program of the government, Citarum River Cleanup Action, by using the Citarum Harum. And before 17, this is one of the dirtiest river in the world. You can see very dirty, but after the cleanup action, so we can see that this is more, this is become more clean and better compared with the other. And because this river, this location, Citarum watershed cover about 26 million people around this area, because it's located in West Java, and 70 have along more than 100 kilometers. And for the summary, I think we have a lot of things to do, but you can see just a very glance information about the plastic pollution in Indonesia. And plastic river and coastal pollution is an interesting topic in Indonesia, because we have still a lot of homework to solve our problem, and there are great possibility for collaboration. And I think we need integrated tools, approach, and methods to overcome the problem in plastic river in our country. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much for your excellent presentation. So let's move to the next speaker, Dr. Lee. Dr. Lee, please.
Sorry, I forgot to unmute. Okay, okay. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes, yes, good.
Okay, okay. Okay, today I will talk a bit about the progresses in Vietnam. I won't tell about like the pollution, the situation. All of you knows already. We just talk about the progresses in policies, improvement, and improvement in resources. Okay. Okay. We talk a bit about the situation of related policies. Before 2018, plastics had been considered and managed at other solid waste. We have a lot of laws, regulation, and like degree decision on solid waste management, but not plastics at all, not plastic and microplastic at all. However, after 2017, after adoption of the resolution of UN Environment Assembly on ocean plastic and microplastic waste, we do something. In 2019, we promulgated the National Action Plan for Ocean Plastic Waste Management. And we have the enhancement of management, reducing, recycling, and treatment, and reducing of plastic waste. And in November of 2020, we revised the environmental protection law, which mentioned a lot of plastic management. And this year, we approved of the project that proactive preparation and participation in establish a global agreement on ocean plastics pollution. And we determine some priorities solution to promote effective management. Firstly, we are trying to complete the policies and laws on plastics and microplastic waste management. Like we need a guidance, we need a regulation for eco-labeling or something like that. And we need more specific regulation and guidance on a roadmap for how to restrict the single-use plastic products and non-biodegradable plastic bag. And then we going to develop the standard and technical regulation for recycled plastics product. Secondly, we try to raise the awareness and behaviors for community to reduce the tracking plastic and microplastic waste into the environment, and enhancement of international cooperation on plastics and microplastics management. This is what our government is trying to do. Yeah, and after these laws, this regulation established, we have a lot of activity, like we have nationwide marching ceremony for anti-plastic waste, and then we have we established some alliance like anti-plastic waste alliance or packaging recycling organization, or we have zero waste alliance, something like. Yeah, we have a lot. And then we have like practical activities, like we have some festivals, some campaigns for reduce, for communication of plastic use. And then some of the food and drink restaurants, something like brand, they make their policy to reduce the plastic, single plastics. And we can see that there are many practical activity in developing the policy and legal system for plastic and microplastics waste management to adopt the SDGs and the global agreements. And few recent years, there have been a lot of improvement, not only in awareness raising, but also in action and the plan toward the solution of this problem. However, you can see we don't have any like standard or regulation mentioned about this parameter in discharge wastewater, which a lot from river to ocean. And it seems that there are not yet any idea for monitoring system. That is for the policies maker, and what's our efforts, the scientists and like some NGO, some what we trying to do. Like since 2017, there's we join a lot of training courses like from WESTPAC and others, not only in our institute but also in other authorities, also managers and like NGO staff and even volunteers. And we have some projects to build the capacity. It's both international projects and national projects. Compose is this project is an example. Like they go to Vietnam, they make the research network that they teach us to how to do research about this issue. And we have some initial result. Yeah, this result is we did ourselves, and then we get some result and publication in 3 years. In these 3 years, since 2019 until now, we have around like 20 publication in Vietnam journal as well as ISI journal. And finally, we have some data to report and share. And this data was reported and shared among the workshop, in the report, or in the ceremonials, everywhere. And we have some data like here. We can see that the plastic leakage in Vietnam, what we found is 44.8 kiloton of meso and microplastic, and 7.8 kiloton of microplastics. That's what we did. It's not on or in Vietnam environment, but what we did, what we could find. Yeah, and label plastics is in 40% in the market. And we just recycle 9% of plastic, and 44% is plastic from food containers, 33% from fishery sector, and 22% of domestic waste. We have more than 80% of waste, solid waste, doesn't need to go to the landfill. That means we landfill a lot, in which 12% is recyclable, and 76% is compostable, and more than 50% of plastics is non-essential plastic, like plastic bag or single-use plastic packaging. And this is this picture. This is surveys was done by Vietnam Zero Waste Alliance, that we have a lot of organizations over there, including university and some research institutions. And we determine, we know the solid waste stream, like the input we import, the scrap, import product, and this you can see is the input and the output. And we notice that most of the consumed plastics is not produced by Vietnam. We just import it, and the consume rate is 80 kilogram per person per year, and the discharge rate is 58 kilogram per year per person. And we have 3.6 million tons of plastics uncollected every year. And yeah, the plastic leakage into the sea and the environment is around 4.7 kilogram per person per year. Yeah, this data I just got yesterday. Yes, it's very new one. And we have like the plastics in MPAs. You can in the left side I think this one is from IUCN research. They go to our MPA and do the surveys on 3,630 square kilometer, and this is their results. And since 2019, we train to the MPA staff, and they can monitor the microplastic themselves. There were 6 surveys in 2019 done by MPA themselves, and the content of plastic waste tend to decrease at the survey voice. Here is Fiji and Tibet. It's maybe by the epidemic. If so, you can see that the influence of the impact of tourists go to the plastic waste here. Sorry. Okay. We can see. Okay, I will show very quick the data here, and we did the research on the microplastics in the atmosphere. Here is some result, and in organism, in aquatic organism, and like initial, we have some initial achievement, like for the MPA staff now they can do the monitoring themselves, and some of the lab we can do the research. I don't know how many, but there's some, and baseline data for the research, and we have some policy intervention, not much, but we have, yes. However, we still have some limitation, like the level is different among the research institution, and we don't update, and we don't have the high accuracy methods like we cannot do in the deep water, offshore water, or something like that. And we don't have any like integrated surveys, and actually we don't have real research network like we have each organization do this network, another do another one, and we don't have like a network, and we don't have any idea about the monitoring system yet, and the standard and regulation system we lack a little bit, and we need more policy interventions. And yeah, a big gap, a big limitation is the guy who presenting this is not contribution much into that research. So in near future, I think we will have some actionable plan to give more data, and we have more network to research about this situation. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Lee, for your excellent presentation. So thanks. Now we are moving to it's a question time. Dear audience, please raise your hand to request the floor. You can unmute yourself and ask directly when it's your turn, or you can still type your questions in the chat box. Please also refer to the critical speaker you want to ask. Here now, there's one from more Robin. The question to Dr. Lonely. I just read it. Nice talk. Exciting technology. I wonder when the cat was released from the ocean. How do you avoid the bycatch marine fish? The marine debris is like artificial reef to marine biology. This question is to Dr. Leonard. Please.
Yes, thank you for that question. And in fact, that's a very relevant question. We are cleaning the oceans because of the harm that the plastic pollution is doing to the marine environment, to the marine fauna that is out there. So the last thing you want to do is have a negative impact through our operation on the ecosystem out there. So this is really a lot of, this is part of our design process. We design technology with the aim to have minimal bycatch. At least in the ocean, we do that by a couple of factors. So we have very low speed. So if you have very reduced speeds, then the organisms can they can circumvent your catching system, whereas obviously floating plastic cannot, because that doesn't swim. In the design, there's a lot of features. It's quite shallow. There is escape hatches and mitigating, like deterrent devices, so that it's quite good. It's visible, it's clear. There's a little pings attached to it. So we do a lot of work to prevent any organisms entering the system. If they do enter the system, we are monitoring that very closely as well. So we have noticed some fish entering the system, but they are able to exit again. So they have been swimming in and out. We even have nice video footage of that, because we have lots of cameras inside the system to continuously watch. And if for whatever reason an organism becomes entrapped in the catch or in the system, then we can help release it through a remote activated release system or other means that we can help to release it. We are monitoring very closely what the content of our collected materials are, and how much of that is organic and how much of it is, of course, consisting of the different types of plastics that we are collecting there. And you will be able to see the progress on that, because we are reporting on it. The operation in the Great Pacific is actually being governed by the Dutch government. We have a covenant agreement with them, where we report quite frequently about the environmental impacts on of our operations. So yeah, we are monitoring, and if for whatever reason we need to adjust our operations, we will do so. We're also doing a lot of fundamental research about the cohabitation of various organisms and the plastic accumulating in the Great Pacific, to see if there is an effect that it's actually attracting, like a fish aggregation device or not. What are the seasonal influences of different cohabitation effects, and we are frequently publishing about that sort of research as well. So far we have found no high risk of having any population level impact on any organisms.
Okay, thank you very much. And now, any questions? Please raise your hand. Okay, I have a question to Dr. Regent. Good to see those great practice on the circular economy of plastic. To close the circle, I think the recycling processes is crucial. Could you introduce a little bit more about the technologies or policies to promote recycling in Thailand?
Okay, thank you very much for your question. Actually, I think policy in place, I think it's very important to move forward. Thailand, as before that, we are a share of ASEAN and Thailand initiative. We have to work closely with our member, ASEAN member as well. Just why we initiate the ASEAN framework combating on marine plastic debris. And our country itself, we also on the top 10 of the country contribute to marine plastic debris. Just why the government pay attention on the policy development. I already mentioned about the roadmap for plastic waste management, especially single-use plastic prevention. We can ban the single-use plastic, and how we can develop a system in place for plastic management in the country. Just why circular economy brought along the line, and then the government announced bio-circular green economy as the new direction of the country. When we are going to develop something, we have to consider our scarcity of natural resources, and then our commitment to reduce greenhouse gas emission. That's also duty of country around the world. Just why we put them together. In Thailand, right now we also develop a label on the circular economy product that the product will include the circularity approach and a green label or environmental friendly label. That's also important step that we are going to apply circular economy. At the same time, research also very important. How we going to ban the single-use plastic. What the product that going to replace the single-use plastic, and how we tackle the problem. Monitoring our friend already mentioned microplastic, also very important issue in Thailand or our region. Sometimes we have to find a forum that we have to work together, and microplastic is the transboundary problem in nature. Just why we came and talked together, and sharing knowledge, science-based policy, I think is very important as well. Circular economy has come to the right time. Plastic already mentioned. We have to how we can apply plastic problem attached with the circular economy approach. That the policy in place, I think, very important. Right now, the government just approved the action plan for the circular economy in the country, along with other BCG new economic model as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your nice answer. From the Mohammed Regiment, Sweden. The question is, are there data composition or quality from rivers from different countries published? How to obtain such info? Yes, this question.
Yeah, thank you for that question. Because actually, for the data that we have collected, we always make sure that it's in peer-reviewed scientific papers, open source, available to everybody. If you are interested in the detailed publications that we do on riverine plastic pollution levels, as well as the interactive model that we have created to do forecasting there, that is actually available on our website on theoceancleanup.com. There's a separate section on science, on the scientific publications there. And I was, as I mentioned earlier, after me, I was quite pleased to see a lot of the publications and the data that we collected were shared, because it is so important to make sure that scientists among each other collaborate and share the information that we have. So there were a few publications about rivers in Vietnam contributed to, shared in the references as well, all freely available.
Thank you. Very nice answer. So any questions? Okay. May I have ask a question for Dr. Yang? Dr. Yang? Can you hear me?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay.
Yes.
The question is, how do you see the role of science will play in citizen science activities? Will play in this region to combat river and plastic pollution?
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Lee, for this question. I think this is a very good approach for NGOs to collaborate with the different partners to implement citizen science, because actually because NGOs, we have the advantage of connecting between the communities and the government in a more smoother way, and so I think what we can the role that we can best play is that we can collaborate with the scientists on designing a good citizen science program and also the protocols, and then we can also make use of our network with the local NGOs that we can connect with the different stakeholders, so that we can jointly conduct some, for example, trainings, and then also ask the local NGOs to gather some of the different local communities to implement these projects, so that we can collect some meaningful data, and then also that the scientists are comfortable in using such data because they are directly involved in such kind of project design. And then, yeah, we can jointly provide those data to our local government so that they can make use of them, or consider whether the government would like to share those data in some of the international platforms. Yeah, so these are some of my thinkings.
Yes. Thank you very much. Yes, it's a good answer. Okay, let's see. There's a question in the chat box from Xiao Hui Wang. The question is to Evan. The question is interesting to see the heavy impact of monsoon on the coastal plastic pollution in Indonesia. Do you think it is possible to identify the sources and hence take effective countermeasures?
Thank you for your interesting question. Yes, this is also a big problem in Indonesia, because monsoon is very effectively working in our country, and I think it is possible to identify the sources because we can see that during the rainy season that occur in December, January, and February, we can see the direction of the wind. We can also see the increasing volume of the water in the river because of the rainfall. And yeah, in this method we can do by observation, but we can also do by the numerical modeling. We can have a good result from this method, and I think, yeah, it's possible. If you need some more discussion, you can we can discuss after this meeting, and we can have a good identify the source and effective countermeasures, because we need to have different maybe different not approach but different number between the west monsoon and also the dry monsoon in Indonesia. But maybe in your country you have a different problem, but you can, I think this is one that you can do for approach in regarding the seasonal monsoon in our country. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And okay, we still have some time. Okay. Any questions now? Okay. I try to find someone raise the hand. Okay. Now, may I have a question? For Dr. Leonard, cool to see that insects have been used in WESTPAC region. I'm wondering for those big rivers which have a lot of transportation. Will the work of insects be affected?
So this for me is
For Donald.
Yes.
Sorry, can you repeat that question?
Yeah. I'm wondering, the insects have been used in West Pacific region. I just wonder for those big rivers which has a lot of transportation. Will the work of interceptor be affected?
Yeah, the interceptor is suitable for a subset of the overall rivers that are flowing into the sea. We are operating currently in indeed the West Pacific region, as well as in Latin America. And from those operations we are learning a lot, of course, but it is able to operate in relatively large rivers, also a little bit medium to larger rivers, specifically also in combination with navigation, but not heavy navigation, because you do need to place barriers in your river to direct the debris towards the mouth of the system. So passing the occasional traffic, that's okay, but if it's a big major navigational route into an inland port, then it's not so suitable.
Thank you very much. Okay, well, I think we are time to running out for our incubation. So I want to quick wrap up. As a growing of the environmental threat, marine plastic pollution has joined increasing concern globally. As a hotspot area, West Pacific region need extra attention and effort to tackle this issue in the coming decade. This drove us to organizing this incubator. Our invited speakers giving excellent talks regarding to different aspects of this issue and propose potential actions and activities we can do during the ocean decade. We call collaborative work to better evaluate the flux of riverine plastics and microplastics based on the harmonized methods in the region. We also recognize the importance of policy to improve the management of land-based waste so as to avoid them ending up in the river. New technologies as well as citizen science will play important roles in cleaning our rivers. With all those efforts conducted, we believe the path could be approved and the clean ocean objective could be obtained. Finally, I want to thank again for all the invited speakers and thanks all the audience to join our Incubator. I'm looking forward to see more collaborative initiatives in this region to combat marine plastic pollution. And I also are looking forward to working with you. So I think they are my final words. Thank you very much. So we close the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye
you.
bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Yeah,
Take
thank
care,
you. Take
everyone.
care. Take care.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you.
Take care. Have a good day.
Bye.